Deep in the heart of the Amazon lies a region so remote, so untouched, that even seasoned explorers whisper its name with a mix of awe and fear: the Vale dos Perdidos, the Valley of the Lost. For centuries, local legends have spoken of a place where the jungle itself seems to breathe, where the trees watch with unseen eyes, and where the night holds a secret that no one has ever returned to tell. Our story begins with a group of 4 ambitious individuals who thought they could be the first. There was Dr. Eris Thorne, a brilliant but arrogant botanist, obsessed with finding a mythical orchid said to possess unparalleled healing properties. He was the leader, the one who convinced the others this expedition was worth the risk. Accompanying him was Lena Petrova, a hardened survival expert and ex-military guide. She trusted her skills, but not the jungle's reputation. Then there were the documentarians, a young couple named Ben and Chloe. They were there to capture the raw beauty of the Amazon, but they would end up recording something far more terrifying. Their journey started like any other. The first few days were filled with the vibrant sounds of the rainforest. The air was thick with humidity, the cries of exotic birds echoed through the canopy, and the team was in high spirits. Ben's camera captured stunning shots of neon blue butterflies and monkeys swinging through the vines. Chloe's journal entries were full of wonder. Lena, ever vigilant, scouted ahead, marking their path. Only Eris seemed on edge, his eyes constantly scanning the dense foliage, driven by his singular obsession. On the 5th day, they crossed an unmarked river and entered the Vale dos Perdidos. The atmosphere changed almost instantly. The familiar symphony of the jungle faded into an eerie, oppressive silence. The air grew heavy, and a strange, sweet scent, almost like decaying flowers, hung in the air. Lena was the first to notice. She pointed out that there were no animal tracks, no birds in the sky. It was as if all life had fled this part of the forest. Ben and Chloe felt a chill that had nothing to do with the temperature, but Eris pushed them forward, convinced they were close to his prize. That evening, they made camp in a small clearing. Chloe wrote in her journal, her hand trembling slightly, "The silence here is alive." The first strange occurrence happened around midnight. Lena, who rarely slept deeply, was jolted awake by a sound. It wasn't a roar or a screech. It was a soft, rhythmic clicking, almost like pebbles being gently tapped together. It seemed to come from all directions at once. She woke the others. They sat in silence, straining their ears. The clicking grew closer, then faded away, leaving them in a state of high alert. Eris dismissed it as insects, but Lena knew better. No insect she'd ever encountered made a sound like that. An hour later, it happened again. This time, the clicking was accompanied by a low, guttural hum that seemed to vibrate through the ground itself. Ben grabbed his camera, switching to the night vision mode, and scanned the perimeter of their camp. The lens showed nothing but a wall of impenetrable green, yet the feeling of being watched was overwhelming. Chloe was now visibly terrified, clutching a small wooden cross around her neck. The real horror began just before dawn, in that darkest hour when the night is most reluctant to yield to the day. A blood-curdling scream shattered the silence. It was Ben. Chloe shrieked his name as Lena and Eris scrambled for their flashlights. They found Ben at the edge of the clearing, his eyes wide with terror, pointing a shaking hand towards the trees. His camera lay on the ground, its lens cracked. "It was right there," he stammered, his voice barely a whisper. The eyes, so many eyes, but when they aimed their lights into the darkness, they saw nothing, just the endless, silent trees. They huddled together, paranoia setting in. Eris accused Lena of not securing the camp properly. Lena snapped back that no perimeter could stop something they couldn't see. Chloe was trying to comfort Ben, who was now almost catatonic, rocking back and forth and muttering about the eyes. The unity of the group was completely gone, replaced by fear and suspicion. As the first faint light of dawn began to filter through the canopy, they thought the worst was over. They were wrong. A new sound emerged from the jungle. It was a soft, melodic humming, almost like a lullaby. It was strangely beautiful, yet deeply unsettling. It seemed to pull at them, to invite them into the trees. Eris, his scientific curiosity overriding his fear, took a few steps towards the sound. "It's magnificent," he breathed, a strange, placid look on his face. "The source must be nearby." Lena grabbed his arm. "Eris, no, it's a trap." But the botanist seemed mesmerized. He shook her off and walked slowly, dreamily towards the dense wall of vegetation from where the humming originated. Chloe screamed for him to come back, but he didn't even turn around. He simply vanished into the leaves, swallowed by the jungle. The humming stopped the instant he was gone. Now only 3 remained. Panic gave way to a desperate need to escape. Lena, Chloe, and the still shocked Ben packed what they could in a frenzy. They decided to abandon the camp and retrace their steps back to the river. As they fled, they could hear the clicking sound again, this time following them, always keeping a consistent distance. It was a predator toying with its prey. They ran for what felt like hours, thorns and branches tearing at their clothes and skin. The jungle seemed to conspire against them. The path they had marked just the day before now seemed twisted and unfamiliar. Every shadow looked like a lurking figure. Every rustle of leaves sent a jolt of terror through them. At some point, Chloe stumbled and fell, twisting her ankle. She cried out in pain. Lena and Ben helped her up, but she could barely walk. They were slowing down, and the clicking sound was getting closer. Lena, her military training kicking in, made a decision. She told Ben to take Chloe and keep moving, to not stop for anything. She would stay behind and try to buy them some time. "Get to the river," she commanded, her face grim. "Don't look back." Ben, with tears streaming down his face, half carried, half dragged Chloe away. Chloe looked back one last time to see Lena standing firm, facing the direction of the sounds, a long machete held tightly in her hands. That was the last they ever saw of her. A few moments after they left her, a single, defiant yell echoed through the forest, followed by a sickening crunch, and then silence. Ben and Chloe pushed on, driven by pure adrenaline and terror. They could hear the clicking again, closer than ever. They finally saw a glimmer of light through the trees. The river Hope surged through them. They scrambled down the muddy bank, splashing into the water. But as Ben turned to help Chloe, he froze. Standing on the bank behind her was not one creature, but dozens. In the dim light, their forms were indistinct, tall and slender, almost like twisted humanoids made of woven vines and damp earth. Their heads tilted at unnatural angles, and where their faces should have been, there were only clusters of glowing, multifaceted eyes, like those of an insect. The strange, sweet scent of decay was overpowering. Chloe never saw them. Her last moments were spent looking at the horror on Ben's face. In his final desperate act, Ben raised his damaged camera. He had to show the world. He had to let someone know what was in this valley. He pressed the record button just as the figures surged forward, their clicking reaching a frantic crescendo. Months later, a recovery team, dispatched after the expedition was declared missing, found a single object washed up on a riverbank 50 miles downstream from the Vale dos Perdidos. It was a heavily damaged digital camera. Most of the footage was corrupted by water, showing nothing but static and distorted green blurs. But the last few seconds were miraculously intact. The clip is shaky, filled with the sounds of panicked breathing and splashing water. For a moment, you see the terrified face of a young woman. Then the camera pans up to the riverbank, and for 3 horrifying frames, before the recording cuts to black, you can see them. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more mysteries from the dark corners of our world.